did you know that Discord e-sex are a thing? Now that you know, unfortunately, there's no way to unlearn that information. But if you were to have a Egirl on Discord and you wanna shoot your shot by offering her to do e-sex together, but unfortunately she declined, don't worry, because in this video I am about to show you a few tips on how to make her say yes, because you don't always have to. Sometimes in life taking no for an answer is very mature of you. However, there are some moments in your life where taking a no, you just gotta try harder, and maybe once you try hard enough, she'll say yes. So one of the things that you can do is actually make. Does anyone remember a Twitter Twitter longer whenever a YouTuber made a oopsie? I get it. It's from PewDiePie. They'll post like this link to a tweet longer, and it'll just be a whole ass fucking documents about them yapping about why they're in the wrong, about why they're actually in the right, and blah blah blah. Who give a fuck, right? Now you're gonna make a document. In this document, you of course have to make it extra long, filled with information about all the times she manipulated you, even though she didn't, just pretend, and has forced you to do things you were never would have ever done otherwise without her forcing you. Yeah, you see where I'm going? And you're gonna threaten her that if she refuses this, you would leak the document to all of her family members on, I don't know, WhatsApp, Facebook. And of course, the family will try to side with her because, oh no, my daughter would never do such thing. Here's the kicker. The document's gonna include. Yeah, I don't know if I can describe it 100%. I gotta have to be fake so YouTube doesn't take my channel down. You gotta do digging on her and you gotta look for any information that you can find about her that will be dangerous if any of your family member knew, and you would use that information against her. Okay, for example, right, on Twitter there was this blue archive female player, and last year around June or July, I forgot, but on Discord she was found talking about how much she like animals. And you might think, oh, people love animals, right? In that way, yeah. And she would send videos of the animals doing, yeah. If you can manage to find information about that on a void, then you're pretty much good to go. However, if that plan flop for whatever reason, so the next thing that you can do is just drive to her house and just ask her to do it in real life instead of on Discord, right? However, this only works if you live in the same country as her and you're at a drivable distance from her house. So on the worst scenario, you live in the Philippines and the e-girl that you like live in Canada or something, then oh well, there are still plenty of fish in the ocean. However, if everything in the universe are aligned properly and you found out that her house is actually pretty close by, you can just drive to her house. And you might think this is literally stalking. No, because girls love stalkers anyways. Because to them, the way that girls think is that, oh my god, this guy took the time of his week to drive 10 hours to my house. Oh my god, this must be the man of my life. Am I in love? Anyways, that's just how the mind of a void works. So when you drive to her house and you confess and you want to do this, you brought protection, but she still say no and she threatened to call the cops. But don't worry, we still have plenty of tricks up our sleeve. So the next thing that you can say is that, oh, you won't have sex with me? Oh well, I guess I'm just gonna do it with the other e-girls that I know on Discord. Bye. The way that girls' mind works is that they are very competitive towards their own kind. So, if a void sees another void that maybe they are quote unquote friends with, or just a random void online that she sees on Twitter having some action, she will be jealous. So by you saying that, oh, don't worry, that's fine. I can just go hang out with my other Discord voids instead. This will trigger something in her mind to rethink her decision. That is enough of a possibility for her to change her mind and just say yes. You might think that trick is ineffective, but I knew a South American guy that did this move with a brown void, and then guess what? They are now dating, and they even met up in real life. If that's not enough proof that this technique worked, then I don't know what to say. The last final bit that you can do to make her say yes to your e-sex invitation is that, okay, if you do this on the day that you drove to her house, then I don't think it would work, because at that point she probably already called the cops on you. So during your talking stage, right, before you offer the e-sex, right, every time she yaps about some bullshit that you clearly don't give a fuck about and you care about, just pretend that you give a fuck and just spam external validation like, wow, you learned how to cook? You did such a good job. That is like for an example. So anytime she shared about something like clearly you of course quote unquote care about, you gotta pull that move. You gotta just spam external validation, but you cannot use this move too much, because you might think that she might caught on that you're doing this, like she might think you are quote unquote love bombing, but in reality that you actually love her, and over time it will add on and increase the chances of her saying yes to the e-sex session that you will soon gonna have. Obviously I didn't came up with all of these genius ideas by myself, because I am not that smart on how the female mind really works, but I know enough basis to express my opinions on such creatures, and I gotta give a thanks / shout out to my Russian and Brazilian friends Traynal and Davi on educating me on how the mind of a void really works.